There we're on. All right.
Hey,
Happy New Thought Tuesdays. Hey, folks, have you ever felt something was missing in your life despite having all of the material success? That's the road we're on today. Spiritual abundance. Got all the ducks in a row, got the house, got the car, got the things that you really need. And there's this desire for something deeper. So that's what we're talking about. We see that here at New Thought Tuesdays. Rich and I are talking about this in terms of spiritual abundance, that sense of faith and trust. So that's that's where we're at today on New Thought Tuesdays, and we're going to just talk a little bit here, and then we're going to dive into the inner circle, which is that place where we do a deep dive privately. So if you'd like to join us, you can go to newthoughttuesdays.com and click on a link, and we will send you the private link to join the inner circle on Tuesdays for New Thought Tuesdays. So welcome to all of you that are here. Richard,
hey, how
spiritual
are
abundance.
you? Spiritual abundance, we talked about material abundance last week.
Yeah.
And so you get all the material things, but you still feel an emptiness. There's something missing. And to me, it's almost like you get this brand new picture, you put it on your wall, artwork, and you look at it. Every time you walk in the house, you look at it, it's great. Then after a while, you don't even notice it anymore. It's like it doesn't exist. Well, to me, that's material abundance. Spiritual abundance is when you walk in the room and everything seems new to you. And you get excited over everything that's going on in the room. Not only the picture that you just got, but the picture you bought 5 years ago excites you. And that's what happens when you connect with spirit. For me, anyways, that's my example of spiritual abundance.
I love that, Rich. And just listening to that, it makes me feel uplifted just because it's a great analogy, that idea of walking into a room, metaphorically, a room, and knowing that sense that everything is new. That sense that there's a marvelous adventure afoot, kind of a Sherlock Holmesian idea of life. There's an adventure afoot, and having that spiritual abundance. When I think about spiritual abundance, I just think of I always think about beauty, and it's generally, I'm very much like my sister, is that it brings me into that sense of nature. Spiritual abundance for me is most pictured when I am looking at a vista. And when I have that sense of looking at a vista, as well, quite frankly, I am looking at one right now, it's fabulous. And I allow myself to feel, sense, and know that a higher power is at work. Sometimes I'm laboring at my computer. I'm getting New Thought Tuesday stuff. I'm working with getting client billing out and organizing stuff. Maybe I don't sense that God is afoot, but more and more I bring that sense of, okay, here I am in this moment. I know that God is afoot in this moment. And that's a sense of spiritual abundance. That's how it works with me.
Yeah. Spiritual abundance. Also, Dean, let's talk about the whole idea of connecting with source energy, God, divine presence within. That's where the abundance comes from. You may think that the abundance comes from your employer that gives you the money, that pays you a paycheck. Or you may think the abundance comes from the relationships that you have in your life, those material relationships. However, the true sense of things for me on a spiritual path is that that it's our connection with the infinite supply, infinite intelligence, not withholding anything from me. That's the abundance. So when you can connect with spirit, and that's what we do, and that's what we're going to do with the inner circle. Let's take you through some exercises and different techniques you can use to be able to connect with spirit, because that's where the abundance comes from. Supply comes from. It's the supply of all it is. Look around you.
See,
Yes.
and as you're looking around yourself, you allow yourself to open up to the possibility that you're aligned in this moment I'm right here looking at this. I'm taking this life in, taking this New Thought Tuesdays experience in, that I am in full alignment with my higher power. And in that simple moment, it brings me such a sense of faith and such a sense of possibility. And it gives a it gives a, it brings me in a direction. On the one hand, it pauses that stuff that doesn't feel like abundance. It pauses. It's like, focus on that which you have faith in and that is true. And that's when I feel most connected to spiritual abundance, recognizing that spiritual abundance is always present. It's a matter of whether or not we're identifying it, naming it, living it. And that's what we'll talk about today in the inner circle when we go into the private inner circle. It's more, as you were saying, ideas and exercises about what do you do? And we will share with each other our own tips, tricks, and ideas about how to experience that sense of spiritual abundance in day-to-day
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Sometimes you can look around you at the material abundance that's going on in your life, and it may not make you, in the beginning, it makes you happy, you get all excited about it. But after a while, you lose that sense of joy, because all of a sudden you're off onto the next thing that you want to manifest and create. But with spiritual abundance, you know that you're connected to all of your good. You're connected to what I call God, is your highest good. The good and your good and your God are one and the same thing. And so when you're connected to your spiritual awareness, your spiritual abundance comes through, because you start to feel more joy and happiness in your life, because you know that there's nothing lacking. There's nothing lacking. And if something seems or appears to be missing in your life, whether it's lack of money or finances or being able to pay the bills, that's just an illusion, because the minute you get connected with source energy, God, divine presence, all of that will be fulfilled. It has to be fulfilled, because the infinite intelligence is not holding anything from us. So, I can't think of any examples. Dean, can you think of any examples uh, of spiritual abundance in your own life and how you've experienced it?
Well, I go back to the whole thing of, I'm just looking around in my own home at the vista that's here. And that came out of yes, there's material experience here. Absolutely. And I'm very grateful for it. But there's a radiance that I sense in our home, there's a glimmering, shimmering clarity that is here. And that's what I have to connect into, beyond
Yeah,
material and beyond, we've got a full household going on here, all kinds of things that, can be challenging at times. When looking at those things that are challenging or not challenging, and seeing that God vista, that vista in spirit in them.
yeah. Also in your musical life, I know we were talking last week and you were mentioning that you're starting to take, what, singing lessons, piano lessons or something? What is that all about?
Well, I'm taking
And that's spirit wanting to reveal itself through you, because you're connected to it.
well, that was all part of the idea of that calling that is within me as far as music is concerned. We've talked about this in other New Thought Tuesdays about my particular projects and where I'm moving my projects these days. And that is it's an idea of creative abundance, which for me, spirit is infinitely creative. So as I'm moving in, somebody was saying to me, "Oh, but Dean, you really know how to sing. Why would you take voice lessons?" It's kind of like, well, the guys for the Super Bowl don't just show up at game time. There's practicing involved. There's going through this experience and celebrating the nuance of this creativity. That to me is spiritual abundance, celebrating the nuance of the creativity and the process of creativity. So that, I mean, and that's just one of the ways that I do it.
Hey, next week, let's talk about creative abundance.
Creative abundance. That sounds like it. That's there we go. Last week was material abundance. This week is spiritual abundance. Next week is creative abundance. You heard it here first, folks. Is it time, my friend, to go into the inner circle?
Sure. In order to join us in the inner circle, if you go to newthoughttuesdays.com, there's a little form there you can fill out with your name and email address, and we'll send you a reminder each week, the day before and also 1 hour before, just to remind you to show up. You won't be inundated with emails from us. We only send out one email, actually 2 emails a week, as a reminder. So just go to newthoughttuesdays.com, fill it out. We'll give you the link that you can come and join us. And then that way you can come into the inner circle where we shut off all the cameras, the audio. It's just us. It's very intimate. What goes on what they say is what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, what goes on in the inner circle stays in the inner circle.
And what you're going to experience is the inner circle is our private workshop where we participate with the participants to dive deeper into these ideas and talk more about the how. Okay, it's great. Get aligned with the guy God qualities. Rich and Dean is terrific. We talk more about the how, the process, and then we talk amongst ourselves about, and as I said earlier, about sharing with one another. Everything there, as Rich says, is confidential. So you'll have access there to Rich and myself as far as our content, our coaching, ongoing support of our beloved New Thought Tuesdays community. Go NTT, and support and encouragement by like-minded individuals. So
Yeah.
that's what, and you never know when Rich is going to throw in one of his books. So,
Yeah.
so join us.
Yeah. And it's never too late. Go now. Just go right now to newthoughttuesdays.com, fill out the form, and you'll get the link and come in and join us. We're going to end the broadcast right now. But if you go to New Thought Tuesdays, click on the link, fill out the form, you'll get an email. In the email, just click on the link and come in and join us. We're going to be there for another 45 minutes.
Yep. See you
Okay.
then.
So I'm going to end this broadcast. Thank you very much. We'll see you next Tuesday. One moment.